1 minute, wasn't it Lucius? 1 minute, one minute he was paralyzed, and then he lost everything. Then they build it back up again. I didn't understand it, so I went into Power a little bit more.
Yeah, Power was.
Yeah, I started
made
watching.
a lot more sense.
I was slow into Power though. Like I didn't really like it at first because I was really more into Empire because I feel like the season 1, 2 was good, and I think anything beyond that just became a bit. It didn't make sense to me anymore. I didn't really understand what was going on. Like I would watch it and I'm just thinking, okay, that the storyline is just not making sense. The acting
Too much was going on.
Acting skills were poor. Like seriously.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the first show where I saw that they were doing they were hiding. So normally they'll have a keyboard, and then obviously we know the brand, big brand. You know what keyboard it is if you do music.
Yeah.
And then they'll hide it. They'll put like a sellotape or something like that, and then they'll normally hide it, and then they wouldn't show the brand.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that with brands, you have to. They can sue you.
Yeah.
How?
If it's big enough, if your platform was big enough, intellectual property, you're not authorized to advertise.
Is it?
Their brand, yeah.
I didn't know. I really didn't know. Like I really didn't know. Thanks for letting me know. Thanks for saving me some money because obviously BMG show. Obviously, you know we're getting
gonna get big.
Yeah. We don't want no one coming for our queens. We going after the queens. Do you know what I mean? We're in the building. As you obviously, yeah, man. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another EP. This is EP 17. We're drawing closer and closer and closer to the milestone, man. Like I think, how many weeks in a year?
52 weeks.
52. So you're telling me by the time we reach, we're getting there. We're drawing closer and closer to the milestone. To almost half a year worth of episodes. Like I think, we show us another one. Welcome another week. As you notice, it's myself, Randy Rands, and I got a hitter at the back, Nivy Nivs in the building. What's happening?
Hi everyone.
What's been going on? Can you speak into the mic? Like
Hi,
I don't understand.
everyone.
Do you think the mic's gonna come to you or something?
Well, my voice is powerful enough to pick up, so
Yeah, whatever. When you coming on screen?
soon.
Is it? I see you're just over there just doing what you're doing. Tutoring.
Yes.
Yeah.
Teaching, tutoring.
Selling.
Yes, exactly. Selling.
Going where the money resides.
Exactly.
Going where the money
Going
resides.
where the money
It's good to have you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to have you back. And obviously tonight, we got a special guest in the building. In fact, everyone is always a special guest here, but we got a very special guest. My thing is our first guest is the people watching us at home. The people that tune in, subscribe, and the people that make sure that they're engaging with the content, they're our first guests. And then we have the physical guests in the building. Do you know what I mean? So without no further ado, drum roll. Wait, that was a rubbish drum roll. Wait. Much better. In the building, can you introduce yourself, please, sir? Let's go.
Yeah, Kevin Munga, man.
Yeah, Kevin Munga. what you saying?
It sounds so smooth. Kevin
Had to make it smooth.
Yeah, he's one of the lucky ones that got the Kevin Munga. That's just like there's no. Can we just call you Kevin? You know what I'm saying? Some of us had to go through the Randy Cabashelli. Sorry, say that again. Cabashelli. How'd you spell that? K-A. We can't call you Randy. No, you can't, John.
You'd be surprised, man.
Yeah.
There's still people that got it wrong. Mongo and all of that stuff.
I have to say though, like in my professional career, where I'm at now is the first time where I felt like people got it right and made the effort to actually say my name in a way that is supposed to be pronounced. So props to all my people. Like everywhere I've been, it's like, oh, can I call you Mr. K? Can I call you this? I'm like, and it gets to a point where it gets annoying. Like you don't even want to have that battle anymore. You're just like, you know what? It is what it is, innit? Like call me Mr. K, call me whatever. But this here, like people actually made the effort to actually pronounce my name how it is. Mr. Kevin Munga, welcome to be my guest show.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, no, it's good, man. Thank you for making the journey. I know it wasn't easy.
Long way.
I know you come from the countryside.
Kent, man.
Yeesh, bro, that's a long way from where we are. So we appreciate your presence here.
Thank you.
I know before the show you were just telling me you're a United fan, and again, my condolences on what happened the past few days. Again, like it wasn't easy. Good. I can't even say good game. I don't know if I want to say
I don't
good
think
game.
we played well. No,
I don't think you turned up. I don't think you turned up. So I don't really want to say good game, but anyway, you got what you got, and then whatever. Yeah.
Next year we go again, man.
Champions League though, so I can't even speak. We'll be playing Europa, where you be back in it. But you wasn't in Champions League, so was you not? Wait, you wasn't in Champions League. Was you in Champions League? Was United in Champions League? Then they play Euro. Exactly. So same.
We downgraded too.
Again, same routine again. I think for next year. So don't even worry about that one. So Mr. Kevin Munga, with no further ado, sir, tell us what is it that you do, because I know this is an interesting one. This is going to be again another one with a lot of gems.
Yeah.
I see you got 2 books on the table. And I know you're ready, you come prepared. So with no further ado, sir, take it away, man. Tell us what is it that you do. Give us a little bit of a background about yourself and the work that you're doing. There you go, sir.
Thank you, man. Thank you for, again, the opportunity.
Yeah.
So currently I'm an activist, I'm an author, I'm a public speaker. I'm also the director of a mental health centre that's opened up in Luton.
Okay.
So I'm one of the co-founders.
Okay.
But I always present myself as that, but I always say that it wasn't always who I was. You know, it started off as being a young person who grew up in Paris first.
Okay.
Grew up in an environment renowned for violence and crime. And then my mom came here with me in the UK at the age of 9.
Okay.
And I saw similarities when I came to the UK. Went through school, was deemed as a failure in school, inadequate. But then we turned it around.
Yeah.
By God's grace, we turned it around.
That's good. I'm gonna. That's a lot of things that you said there. That's worth. That's gonna be a lot to expand on. But just on school, when you say you was deemed as a failure in like what was going on? What was it that it said to you that you was a failure? How was that? How many times did you hear that you was a failure? And how did that impact your progress? And how did that impact you or affect your mind, the amount of times that you was hearing that you're a failure?
I think for me personally, it was just the fact that I was put in the bottom set. So indirectly already put with the so and so called the dumb kids. Indirectly, some teachers who would say, oh, maybe you shouldn't do something academic. You should go through the vocational route. So electricians, mechanics. And a lot of teachers that would say, oh, to my parents that, you know, Kevin might need extra help, extra curriculum to help him in school. And so, unfortunately, subconsciously, that becomes your identity a little bit at that age.
But what did they make that decision based on? Like, based on what? Is it because you just came, you didn't speak English, or what did I make that? How did they come about to make that decision that you was a bottom set student and you needed that extra support and stuff?
I think that it just came through the conclusion of there wasn't like an entry test or anything like that. It was a failing school. Anyways, it was a school that was failing. But when I came in year 6. Learned English pretty quick. You know, when you're under 10, you learn languages. Quick. You can learn about up to 10 languages, literally. So I learned English quite quick. And then I went to year 7. Year 7, I did try in year 7. However, they just thought, no, like he's not good enough to be in set 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Wow. So I was in set 6.
That's great for everything. For obviously the core subjects and stuff like that. And you're saying subconsciously that started affecting you. And how did that make your parents feel? Did your parents ever feel like they couldn't do anything to help that or to help you overcome that, in terms of when you was, you know, you have a child and you want them to do well, but when you start hearing that they're bottom set and they're gonna need extra support, and I know as African parents that sort of,
it's a big thing.
They start looking at the bigger picture. They start looking at Kindoki and things like that.
For real.
Did they ever come to that at one
No,
point?
never.
Taken to church for deliverance and all that.
What was the thing? The unfortunate circumstances was that my father was still in Paris and I was here with my mum. So obviously going through life with my mum was severely ill as well at the time. She couldn't really speak English much. So when it's parents' evening, I've got no one turning up, you know, and that's some of the things that I was going through at the time. And also, as I said, because you've got no teacher that's specifically trying to even help you or to say, oh, Kevin, like, is there something going on at home? Like, why is it that, you know, you're failing tests? Like, I think we had like our SATs in year 9 that was failed. Literally, I left school with 1 GCSE. Literally, French, and I speak French. So.
But you know what? It's You mentioned about you being an activist and you having a mental health
centre in Luton.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
So the mental health centre was that started before I even jumped on board. It was started by a woman called Sarah Nabwami. She started the mental health centre because she felt like there was a high demand in the area of Bedfordshire.
Yeah.
And so we ended up meeting just through church and stuff. And she found out what I was doing, going to schools speaking, going to prisons speaking. And then, she wanted me to jump on board.
Yeah.
So, I've been one of the directors for about a month now. Yeah. And what the mental health centre does is it helps people with applying for housing. It helps people with mental issues. It has peer groups as well, where people can come and they can kind of share their story and be aided in that way.
There's like a place where it's an open space, a safe place, like a therapeutic.
Therapeutic.
Sort of,
it's like a rehabilitation centre.
Okay.
Literally, you have. She's even had prostitutes turn up.
Okay, nice.
You know,
well, not nice, but like in terms of good, good.
Yeah. Like, I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Sorry, that came out. A bit.
So they want their lives changed.
That came out wrong, but do you know what I mean? Like,
we get what you're saying, man. We got you.
Okay. No, that's good. It's good that. But in terms of your being an activist, I always feel like it's a tough gig in terms of it involves a lot. But it's like, what area? When you say you're activist, in terms of what are you campaigning for? Thank you, Nivy Nivs. What are you campaigning for? What is it that you're fighting for? What are you campaigning for?
So literally a social change, but obviously to be precise and to elaborate on that, it's literally I'm trying to dismantle and eradicate the ideology that in order to be somebody where we're from, it's either through football or music or the entertainment world as a whole. And so for me, my mission solely at the beginning was to be able to create an alternative, to be a representation, to be the guy that maybe has a gold tooth or dresses like some of these people on ends, but that's an author or that's an educator. So that's my change. And obviously also my work extends to reducing knife crime as well.
Okay. You know, you know what's interesting? You said like you said you want to change the narrative that in order to make it to become a successful young black man or woman, you don't have to do it through sport or through entertainment. It's funny how I was on one of these blog pages the other day and I saw a video of I don't know if you know the rapper called Russ. Congratulations, by the way. He's got #1 song in the country at the moment.
He's doing well.
3 weeks in a row. He's doing fantastically well. And I think he was stopped by the police for
I haven't seen.
I think he was firearms, and then he stopped there. He's saying, I'm a rapper, and the police is saying, I don't care who you are, like I don't care who you are. Like he's like, I've got #1 song in the country, this and that. And under the comments, I don't want to bear out the name, but she's a well-known sort of comedian as well. A lady said that it's about time that our young people start referring to themselves, I'm a lawyer or I'm this and that, rather than just I'm a rapper or I'm a footballer. And that comment then was attacked in terms of like everyone just started getting onto her saying that what's wrong with being a rapper, what's wrong, rappers today are making more than lawyers, and so I always want to know, like, is it just about the title, or is it about when a lot of people say they want the young black males to just do more than football and entertainment? Is it about, you mentioned something I'm going to touch, one of your posts said if no one could see, if you could, what was it again? I think let me go there. I had it up and I was like, I like this one. I like this one. Just bear with me. I like this one. So anyway, do you want to tell me where it is and I'll read it again?
So the post in a nutshell.
I like it. Yeah, go on.
I'm going to try to say it. The whole post. It was basically, if no one could see what you was doing, would you still be doing what you're doing?
Yeah. I like that.
But obviously, it goes into more depth in the post. So if you could read it.
I'm trying to find it. It's because you obviously you have what you're trying to achieve. Okay, what are you trying to achieve? If no one knew what you're trying to achieve, if no one knew you achieved it, would it still be great? Would it still be a great deal? Would you feel fulfilled? Would it still be a good cause? This is how you determine the value of what you're trying to achieve. I like that. Yeah, so what was it? What was the thinking behind that? Like in terms of what made you come up with that post? Like,
because I think we see a lot of gimmicks that just go viral, and when we look at, I don't know, the greatest thinkers or the deep thinkers, the poets, or the people that are, you know, dropping gems, they're not really getting the look in. And that's what I'm saying. I think it's more to do with the lifestyle or the person that one is, like we said, the title. So maybe someone's a rapper, maybe someone's a footballer. And I just wanted to say that, I wanted to elaborate on the fact that there's certain things that don't get a look in, regardless of who sees it, it would still be a good cause. If I never end up becoming famous or whatever, what I've done can still be passed on to my children, because there will be books, there will be people come up to them and be like, your father was this, and because of your father being this, I opened the door to you. And I don't know if that's with everything that you would be able confidently to be able to say, I could pass that to my children, you know, my grandchildren.
But a rapper could also say, I can pass on money and rapping skills to my children.
Yeah, no.
So do you think it's about, you know, just should we be encouraging our children to be the best at what is it that they do, or should we what's the message?
Encourage them to work hard.
What's the message?
But any career type, anything that you go into, it all requires hard work, right? So whether you're a rapper, whether you are a what's it called? A book writer, an activist, etc. So we should be passing on, work hard, work the best in whatever you do. Honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you told you want social change as you being an activist and stuff like that. So tell us some of the projects that you've been involved in the process of you doing that. Some of the projects to tell us what have you worked on, what are you working on, and things like that, man.
Yeah, man, the way it started, it was very trivial. Don't quote me on it, but I started off volunteering. To someone else, that might be immense, but to me, that was very, very minute, very small. Started off volunteering in the church because I was involved in a few things before that, like a bit of criminality and stuff like that. So I thought, you've left a world behind. Again, that was to try and find my identity again. You know, the inadequacy and the failure labels following me. So I thought to myself, I'm going to try and volunteer because I've got my, when I did find my epiphany and start to find that actually,
I like
grace,
the words this guy's using. Inadequacy, epiphany, and all of that. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So when I got my epiphany, I started to think, okay, cool, Kevin, who are you? Like, surely you're born for a reason. And there's a famous quote that says, the two greatest days in a man's life is the day that he's born and the day that he finds out why. So I kind of found out that through God I have purpose. Through God, like, I'm supposed to be on earth for a particular reason and a mission. And then I realized that, okay, my mission was to go through certain tragedies or go through certain things like mother being ill, being called inadequate in school, feeling inadequate, to be able to come out on top and start doing things. But not to ramble on and get off of topic. So some of the projects that I've been involved in. So I started off volunteering. That led me on to being given the opportunity to go into schools and speak. So school assemblies, that gave more opportunities. That went on to, it proliferated to me going into prisons, me going into churches, speaking. And through the words I was saying, people were just like, you need to write. Like, you need to write a book because the one thing that is able to go everywhere at one point is books. You know, as an author, I'll be able to send my books everywhere. I don't need to be there, kind of thing. And at the time, I wasn't filming what I was doing. So,
What is the reception that you was getting, though? Because I always feel like when motivational speakers go to places and stuff like that, it's great when they capture the audience. You know, message is great and everyone's listening. But I always wonder what is the follow up after that, because I feel like
100%.
You speak, you capture people's attention, but then people are kind of left with, okay, what's next, kind of thing. Like they've got these gems, but like, what was the sort of reception that you got, and how did you follow it up? Whether it's your assemblies or whether it's like speaking in prisons and stuff like that. How? Just what was it?
I think you got mixed. mixed reception, I'd say, or mixed feedback. When I was going into the schools, you'd get like the odd standing ovations, or you'd get people saying, "Oh, that was amazing" and stuff like that. But each to their own. You might have people that might be like, "Oh, that was a bit too strong," because again, I talk about the criminality aspect of things as well, and talk about the transition, and also because I'm big on faith. Schools sometimes don't like the element of faith. So I had to be careful with that. Yeah, so literally that was the feedback I was getting.
Yeah, I'll touch back on that, but tell us a little bit of, like, because you mentioned it twice now whilst I'm listening. So tell me about your transition. Tell me about what was your life before you transitioned, because now obviously we know what you're doing. I think take us back a little bit into those criminal days. What obviously without if it's obviously anything graphic, obviously you know what to do, censor that. But just tell us, what is it that you was involved in, and how did that transition come about? Just I just want someone who maybe isn't in faith or doesn't have any sort of spiritual belief to sort of be able to relate to this as well. So just talk me through that process, what that the life before the transition. What was you doing? How was it? And then how at what point did you decide, you know what, this is, I now need to transition. I now need to change.
So do you know what? It started off as, again, very trivial things, criminal damage here and there, tagging on the wall, like stupid things, maybe having a tag and stuff like that. But I was always a good boy, quiet in school. A lot of people would vouch that, you know, Kevin was a good boy. I think the issue with me was, again, just trying to find out who I am. And I don't know if that's what a seed that God put in my heart from early, but from as early as 12, I was just asking myself, like, I would see groups and they could all identify themselves. I'd see the ladies' men, I'd see the so-called gangsters, you know, I'd see the so-called athletes, and I didn't fit into any of those groups. So as early as 12, 13, 14, asking myself, who am I, kind of thing. And then at the age of 16, something quite important happened, and significant, I would say. And the thing that happened was that I was going to certain areas and, you know, you get the odd, what end you from, what end you from, what end you from. And my best friend, he was a little bit more affiliated than myself. But at that time, 16, on the roads, that would have been a bit late to join. But I just said to myself, it was a false ideology. I convinced myself that, you know what, in order to beat them, you must join them. So for a short period of time, I did end up joining a gang.
In a gang?
Yeah, I ended up joining a gang. Again, very trivial things, but when you put your face out there and there's a few videos, something's bound to happen, you know. And I always say this thing, decisions become easy when you can live with the consequences. And because I wasn't foreseeing the consequences of me putting myself out there and my face out there, some consequences happen. I ended up being beaten up by about 15 guys. One day going to North London, near misses, being shot at. So yeah, there's a few things that happen. It's crazy because I still see it as, because when you're in that space, you're so desensitized that you don't even see it as it wasn't big or great or great of a deal. But now looking back at it, there's a few things that could have happened. Then at 18, there was a little transition, and it was kind of trying to make money again, still trying to find my identity and not knowing who I am, like. Who am I? Where am I from? Why am I here on earth? Kind of thing. Then at the age of 19, I was introduced to Christ. I was invited to church. So that's how my transition occurred. Yeah.
Okay. When you say you've been shot at, a lot of people always say it in passing, like like it's tell us what's happening that day. Take us back to that day. What's going on that day? I want to. Like, what's going on? What events sort of led to that? And then how did you make it out? And what? Yeah, I want to know. I want to know that. I want to tap into that.
Yeah. So this is actually the first time I say it, but it wasn't actually.
Oh, thank you. Exclusive.
Exclusive thing. Do you know what? Yeah, it didn't even happen in this country. And I think that being a spiritual man that I am, God had to take me back to that scene and think like Kevin, he was actually shot at. No bullet came out of the gun, but what had happened was, I was already starting to involve myself in a little bit of gangsterism here in London. So you kind of create a certain mentality for yourself. Ended up going to France on holiday because I was going back and forth. My dad still lives there. My siblings still live there. And yeah, like our area had an issue, a feud with another area. And the guys were just like, what are you saying, Kevin, man? We see your videos in London and stuff like that. What are you saying? You're down to come? We got an issue kind of thing. We ended up going. People went with bats, wooden sticks, CS gas, and then we see. I think there was probably about 15 or 20 of us.
Yeah.
And we see one guy just come out. I'm thinking, this guy's brave. He's about to get it, kind of thing. There's about 20 of us. Yeah. Just pulls out a gun. Yeah. Literally, I was like, that's why he's brave.
Was this in Paris or in the outskirts? I heard the French boys are.
Yeah, they were.
I heard the French boys are active. I heard it in terms of gangs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never really been in the hood in France, but I hear that the French boys are that on it. They're proper. They're nuts, especially in certain areas. I'm thinking. Well, someone tell me about Marseille. I hear it's crazy out there. Like, is it like I don't know? I've never been. What's culture like out there? I hear it's proper. Like when they compare it to here, they're like, there's certain areas. Obviously here as well, there's certain areas you go to. But I'm saying that there's certain estates in France and there's certain areas that when you go there, I'm hearing like, it's proper. Like the gang culture is like there. You're even scared to just walk through those estates. Like, is it out there like that?
Yeah, I think 100%. I think poverty brings forth crime. So the fact that there's a lot more poverty in like the area that I grew up in is called Sarcelles.
I hear that. Did you? I hear about that. You know, Sarcelles. Is it crazy out there?
Yeah, it's really really bad. When you if you didn't have like an older brother there growing up, or like my cousins would have to say who they knew. They'd have to say, "Oh, I'm coming to see." Like my older brothers were quite popular in the area. They'd have to say, "I'm coming to see." So and so to be kind of allowed in.
Is that Sarcelles? It goes down like that in France.
It did, man. It did, definitely.
Wow, that man there. That's I see it. Sometimes we see French rap and we see the videos and we just see how it happens. And like I don't know, I heard a lot of people saying that it's really crazy. It'll be nice for me to do a documentary there one day. You're like, all they have to say, I know Kevin Munga. I just go there and say I know Kevin. but now then, obviously. You like to talk about your spirituality a lot, but and you tie that in with what is it that you're doing. But now moving forward to when you decided, okay, I'm gonna become an activist. I'm gonna give back because I never had that opportunity. Everyone looked down on me as a failure. Everyone labeled me a failure. Why is it that? Tell us a bit about your books then, because we touched on you being an activist. We touched on you being your fast life. We touched on all that. I think one area we haven't touched on is you as a writer and as an author. So you tell us a bit about your books and what the ideas behind it. And I always want to know how does one put a book together? So I want to know. I couldn't wait to ask this question because I don't know. I find the idea of writing. Obviously, it's amazing, but I always wonder, like, how do people just get? Because at one point, I was seeing too many people writing books. I was like, wait, how is it that you've barely got any? Like, why are you writing? What am I reading? What are you? But then it's fascinating though, just to put books together. I always want to know, like, tell me about your books and how do you put one together? Like, how does the writing, the publishing, and all of that come about? And go ahead, man.
If I was to say it in twofolds, I'd say the first main reason was books saved my life. Because remember, I've told you, like, just going back quickly, the fact that I felt inadequate, a bit stupid, I'd probably be called the slow one in my group, but obviously it's changing now. So books saved my life. When I did find Christ, I ended up working on myself. I said, all right, you found Christ now. You've got no qualification. You need to get a hold of yourself. You need to educate yourself. And when I'm saying education, I'm not just talking about academia or intellectualism. I'm talking about education as not as small, but is as obvious as, for example, someone becoming an electrician or someone becoming a mechanic. When we go to mechanics with our cars, within 10 minutes they know what's the problem with it. Do you know what I mean? That's education. That's how important education is. And I said, to get myself out of the situation I'm in, although I've got a good heart now and I've got the core values that are derived from the Bible, I need to be able to start working on myself and doing personal development. So I started reading a lot of self-help books, and then from that was able to change my dialect and the way I speak and become a lot more articulate. And by being able to do that,
I could tell. Academia. Go ahead, man.
And by being able to do that, I was like, people just kept saying to me, you need to start writing. So I just started to think, in order to be great or to be successful, you need to identify a problem. So every great man in history have solved problems. All the intellectuals, all the great leaders, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. And I was like, as I want to take steps to become like these great men, I need to be able to write everything that I want to be able to put or to help people transition with, to change the trajectory of their life. So yeah, I ended up just seeing, okay, what's the issues with young black males? Young black males are demonized in the media. Young black males have negative stereotypes. So I said, all right, cool. I'm going to counteract that with young black males have potential. And that's what I wanted to write. And yeah, so the activism extended to the book. And so I started talking about things like gangsterism because I had experienced it. I started speaking about black on black crime, the fact that I felt like that terminology had to be eradicated because we don't hear Chinese on Chinese or white on white. So I wanted to really speak on that and say that it isn't normal. We shouldn't normalize the phrase black on black. You know, our kids are dying. Police brutality, I started talking about that. And obviously it's happened a lot in America. And so I wanted to speak on that. I spoke about masculinity, you know, toxic masculinity, the fact that you're deemed as weak for crying in front of others. However, that's you just giving your feelings. If anything, you're strong for doing that. You know, so yeah, that's...
Do you think, because a lot of men will say that, you know, just get up and go and just deal with it. Like, what are you crying for? Like, it's all right, just hold it in, deal with it, it's life.
No, I totally disagree. I think that as a man, you shouldn't bottle things in. Definitely, of course, I'd advise not to cry as much, maybe, and try to, you know, to be strong for the people around you, especially if you're a leader. But definitely, man, time to time, it needs to come out. Yeah, you know. So I don't see anything wrong in that.
I like that you on the fact that, you know, we should eradicate the phrase, the black on black crime, and then that. Why did you feel the need for us to do that? Because yeah, I want to know a bit more on that. Like, because is it not because I don't know what the data is again, but is it not because, do you think that has a negative impact and as much? You know, do you think that phrase alone sort of is a problem, like in terms of?
Oh yeah, 100%. Because I'd say when they say black on black, the indicator to crime should never be race. And when I look at things like the 4 youngest children to take GCSEs in Britain are black, and that's not said in the news, I start to think there must be an agenda behind it. There's a lot of things, like for example, it's like blaming paedophilia on middle-aged white men. Not all middle-aged white men are paedophiles. So to say black on black is to insinuate that people like myself, yourself, are also carrying knives. Because you're saying black on black crime, you're not saying the specific young people in a specific time of their life, in a specific demographic, like maybe 16 to, I don't know, 18, from specific areas. And you have to eradicate, you have to separate race from that.
I like that. It's deep, man. I like that. Like that. I'm gonna take time to let that sink in for a little bit. Now that's deep. Like, so it is important. I like what you're saying in terms of changing the narrative, and I feel like it's a tough gig though, because people like to associate race with everything. People like to associate race with everything. I'll tell you something. I saw a post again. I'm on, because of what we're doing. Again, I have to actively be on social media. Some people may not agree with it, but I'm always online looking for what's going on, like globally, what's going on, like who's doing what, like who said what. Okay, just to be in the loop, you know, of things. And I saw a post. Someone posted a black billionaire from is Zimbabwean, but he's based in London. So obviously they recognize him now in what's the newspaper that recognizes black millionaires and stuff like that? Not Forbes. Is it not in the UK? What is it that I forgot? Let me find it again. There's a newspaper that recognizes them, millionaires and stuff like that. I'm just gonna have to find it.
I would have thought Forbes as well.
No, it's not Forbes. And again, shout out Made You Think, because I showed this one and Made You Think. It's a page that I follow and has some decent content on there. Again, I'm trying to find it again. Yeah, so it's the rich list in 2021.
The Rich List. Oh, is that what it's called? Okay.
The Rich List. So he's the first black billionaire in the UK. And again, obviously, and then people sort of move past. For me, I just saw first black billionaire. I was like, great.
Yeah.
I read the article, but I didn't really go into the details. Obviously, I was a bit...
Do you know how many there is in the world? Black?
Nah.
There's only 12.
There's only 12 billionaires. Yeah. Recognized billionaires.
Yeah, recognized.
Okay.
In Africa, there's a few. I'm sure there's a few in Africa.
I mean...
Not recognized.
But why would it not be recognized? Can they don't put their money in a bank? Or
it's probably not done legitimately as well. Yeah. Sometimes. Probably. But there is one... the richest man in Africa, he's a billionaire. Yeah. Nigerian. Yeah.
But what I was going to say, not to lose sight of what I was saying, is that in terms of eradicating or disassociating race with things, is when I read that article, I think in my mindset I saw fantastic black man billionaire is worth about 1.83 billion and is Zimbabwean, fantastic. Yeah. I think for me, the way my mind works is I now go to how did he make that money? Yeah, and then skim. Sorry, this happens a lot.
Lingala's coming up.
Skim reading it.
Yeah,
I came to realize that it's through telecommunication. Like, do you know what I mean? Made his money through that, and then, but when I started looking at the comments, it's like people completely ignore the fact that he's worked hard to get to where he's at. Yeah. They started because in there they were saying that his mission is to fix one of the planet's most pressing problems, finding enough vaccines for Africa, 1.3 billion strong people, and he's worth 1.87. So people started creating a narrative and a conspiracy that he's only on that list because they want to push the agenda of people getting
vaccines.
So I was thinking, okay, that's one way of looking at it, but why should we change that? There's something positive there. Why have we gone that way? Why can't we just look at it like, okay, fantastic, that is a black man recognized as a billionaire, congratulations, well done. The rest I don't really care. But everyone started saying, that's another puppet that they're going to use just to push the agenda. So they said, let's put him on there so that he can get more people can recognize him. And then I was thinking, wow. And then I think sometimes I'm sorry to say, but sometimes we're the problem because
of course,
we don't like solutions. It's like when they show us, when you got someone like you that's trying to change the narrative, when you got someone like him who's breaking barriers and obviously being recognized or whatever, we just want to go back to our little negative territory and say, but, and then associate race with everything. So how are you finding that process of trying to fight the fight of changing the narrative? How are you finding that process? Do you feel supported? Do you feel like change is coming? Do you feel like we're making progress? How are you finding that process?
I think that I'm just here to plant certain seeds. I think change might not happen in my lifetime, but my children will be further than I am in terms of on this trajectory of change. And so for me, that's what gives me hope, because if I just look at the fact that, okay, cool, I can go to a school, go to a prison, inspire, I don't know, about 100 people, 200 people maybe, and then come out and see in a newspaper someone else has been stabbed, someone else has been killed. And obviously being Congolese myself, like seeing a lot of our Congolese young men dying and stuff like that, it can, you can feel deflated and be like, wow, I'm doing this, but this is still happening kind of thing. You just have to continue planting the seeds and just try your best. Like Martin Luther King said, man, I might not get there with you, but I've seen the promised land, and that's literally my mentality, man, all the time.
I wanna ask you something, because like you said, you're Congolese man. So it's just I didn't even mean to flex the triceps. As you said, like obviously, what do you think is the problem with our culture that's making our kids, our children, our friends, our brothers, heading to that way? Because culturally, when we come here, our parents came here to find a better life, as they say. But what do you think now? A lot of our children, a lot of our brothers are heading the wrong way. What do you think is the problem within the community that's making people go that way, and how can we fix that? What can we do as a community to make sure that we're fixing that problem and we're helping our brothers and sisters to make the right decisions?
I think that a lot of parents, a lot of African parents, not to generalize, have come here and have not necessarily adjusted to the Western world. So you have a lot of them that still put their children in boxes. They've seen that, for example, just a typical example, they've seen that in Congo, in order to be somebody, in order to be someone, you need the prestigious titles of a lawyer or a doctor and stuff like that. They have children here, they might pursue the fact that they want to be an actor or they want to be a footballer or they want to do rugby. The first thing, like, if we're talking generally, the first thing the Congolese parent will turn around and say is like, oh, you want to do that? Why do you want to do that? Does that pay? And stuff like that. So they haven't tried to understand their children. You know, I actually speak to my mom about gangsterism now because I want her to understand what it is. I tell her about the hierarchy in it. I tell her about the fact that you're respected. I tell her about the code that you don't speak. And also we have a duty to kind of educate our parents, but I think that is the biggest problem because if they could understand their children and adjust to the Western world and ideology, then definitely would take a step forward and, you know, we wouldn't be put in the boxes. And just one last thing that I want to touch on, you even spoke about Kindoki, for example.
Yeah, witchcraft.
which is massive in our community. And sometimes it's just mental health. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just mental health, but
do you think so? Yeah,
100%.
Do you think for many years we've said that Kindoki, which is witchcraft anyway, is spiritualized everything, and a lot of it can go under the section of mental health.
Yeah, I think
I want you to go deep on that, man. Go deep on that one.
Yeah. So, for example, a young person. I'll give a simple example. A young person that goes into a gang that sees a stabbing, he's going to suffer from something called PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. If he wakes up in sweats, what's his Congolese mum going to think? You know, if he dreams of being stabbed like multiple times, what is she going to think? She's going to think, oh my God. She's either going to think he's a victim of witchcraft being done on him or he's a witch himself. And I think that's kind of the problem. They've dismantled logic and they've spiritualized everything that's happening to us. So like something as trivial as, it's not trivial, but something as simple as, I don't know, like failing a driving test. My mum would be like, oh my God, did you pray enough? Kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? That's Kindoki. No, sometimes part of the process, part of the procedure and the process is failing. You know, you get to the top by failing. When you look at the greats, Michael Jordan, Anthony Joshua, all those great people, they failed over and over and over again. And that's why they're successful. It's just the fact of they've been persistent, they've persevered, and they're the people that they are today. That's so deep. 100%, man.
That's deep. That's deep.
Absolutely deep.
Oh, why'd you sound like you got something more to say from that one? You're just shaking your head.
But I think people need to just take time and just, you know, really take in what he's just said. That, you know, it's not witchcraft. It is mental health as well. And a lot of people in, you know, back home, they're not aware of mental health, such as autism, such as, you know, as you said, PTSD, etc. You know, and I think a lot of the leaders back there, or even us, we need to go back there and educate these people on mental health, you know, and, you know, the help that there is out there as well.
No, for real. I don't know if at the moment that there's because even like I think about sometimes, you know, it's funny. I'm gonna come back to you, Kev. Yeah. Even like sometimes a lot of people, you have a thing where again back home, you have a lot of people that stutter. They have a stammer and they stutter, and sometimes that's just, you know, speech and language. You know, a little bit of speech and language therapy could get them along the way. My dad, bless his soul, was working on the fact that he was working on laser treatments because a lot of people were going blind simply because they weren't the right treatments. It wasn't because their condition wasn't treatable. It was just because the right treatment wasn't available. So he was trying to bring back the laser treatments there and to make sure that he's treating. I think it's got a name anyway. When you start chopping it up, I'll find out what the medical term of that was. I think I want to get it right. I think the medical term for that was glaucoma, uveitis, or something like that. And so basically, that basically is to do with eyes. He was an ophthalmologist, and then a lot of people are going blind in Congo because of they have that, and then there's a treatment for it, and then sometimes the laser treatment is the best way to treat it, but they're going through the other way, and then which is causing people more damage. So I think lack of knowledge is definitely obviously kill.
It is 100%.
Why are you laughing? No, lack of knowledge is killing our people. But nah, I think it's you're right in saying that the PTSD is real. There's a lot of things that happen in, especially for our brothers that are in gangs, and then they come out and then they're having to deal with so much. They're having to deal. So what can we do then? What can we do to make sure that we're supporting these parents? Because I feel like sometimes there's a lot of talks about focusing on the children, but in terms of, because of that language barrier and the culture, lack of integration and all of that, sometimes you can fix the kids, but if you haven't fixed the home that they're going back to, the problem is still there. So what can we do then to make sure that we're eradicating and we're fixing that problem?
I'd say peer groups are definitely one way to go. Like, I think our parents need to be educated on certain topics, gangsterism, whether it be a lot of our kids that's just going wild in general, making money in the streets, and really sitting our parents down. Because even when, for example, going into schools, like you just said, we tend to aim at the students. Sometimes we don't teach the the teachers enough, and the teachers need to be taught as well. So like you said, it starts from the head, then it goes down, kind of thing. So yeah, I think our parents definitely need to be educated on a few things, and they need to be open to our parents. Our parents need to be open. I think a lot of the times our parents do dismiss some of the things that we say to them, because they say, "Oh, I've seen the sun." That's like it's one of the things that they say.
I've seen the sun before you. It's
a big it's a big saying, man, in the Congolese community, and I think so. Yeah, it's on both parts. It just can't work with us. We can't force our parents, but they have to be open, and we have to help them get there.
Yeah. So how's the book? How's the writing going? Which area of your many God-given talents are you focusing on more now? Would you refer to yourself more as a NoFar? Would you refer to yourself more as an activist? Like what area is it that you're really, really, really focusing on now? And how's the book going? Which ones? There's two there. Are there? So just talk me through. You kind of spoken through the
first one.
Is that the first one? Yeah. So then the second one's called Who Am I?
Yeah.
What's that about? Then
Who Am I is definitely something that I was battling with for years. So it's about self-identity, and it's a memoir.
Okay.
So it literally goes back prior being who I am, and then post becoming the person that I am now, being an author and stuff like that. It discusses gangsterism, it discusses inadequacy, it discusses all those things in that book. And I know that a lot of people, there's a lot of Kevin Mungas out there. So what I was thinking is, a lot of Kevin Mungas are going to be able to have a role model, which I didn't have, to be able to get out of those situations. The ones that feel inadequate, the ones that feel like, in order to be somebody where they're from, they need to get involved in gangsterism.
How important do you think representation is in for someone like yourself who's currently at school, feeling like they're failing because they're in bottom set, because they don't have the right guidance around them? How important do you think representation, especially in schools or whatever like that, to see many black teachers or to see a black senior leader, or what? How important do you think that will play in someone like yourself, in a child like yourself today? How important do you think that?
I'd say growth starts from, and I'm going to try to be very careful with what I say. I'd say growth starts from, children are very impressionable. And the way in which one learns is either through people or circumstances. That's the only two ways that one can learn in this lifetime. So if the children, all they're seeing is, okay, there's footballers, they're making money, and the way they dress, I would want that. And that's the only way I can do it. They're going to try and pursue football. And it might not be their purpose. So already that's failure, because you haven't identified what you're good at, but you're wasting time doing something you're not good at. The other thing which is very prevalent is music. So they might see rappers, they might be like, oh, they've got the chains, they've got the cars and stuff like that. So it is kind of being able to create that alternative. I did it with being an author and literature and be able to, okay, maybe still dress the same, still be able to, move out and do things and be financially stable. So that's already one alternative created. Someone would be like, one day I saw Kevin Munga, he's a Norther and he's doing quite well for himself. Maybe I can do that. We need to just create as much alternatives as possible. Whether it be successful plumbers, successful electricians, successful entrepreneurs, successful graphic designers. And yeah, like you said, representation is not race. Representation is someone that you can relate to. Yeah. Someone that you grew up, that's someone that grew up in the same circumstances as you. Someone that grew up, working class. Class can go into it. So I'd say that's how representation is made. Yeah.
I like that. Representation is not race. It's representation, someone that you can relate to. That's amazing. That's a good quote there. That's a good gem there. I like that. But because you know what, it's just that it's amazing how you've been on this beautiful journey, and then I'm sure those books are. I saw you had a signing day, but how can we get hold of it? Like how do we get hold of a Kevin Munga book? If I want to read it, if I want to offer it to someone, how can we get hold of one?
You know what's funny? Yeah, there's an all black bookstore that's got my book.
Yeah.
So race comes into it again.
Do you know what I mean?
But
But so I would say just before you answer that, though,
yeah.
I do agree. I like that quote about what you're saying in terms of representation isn't to do with race, it's about relating. But I do feel like if I can relate to someone that looks like me and has the same sort of story like me, it sometimes does give you the confidence to say, okay, do you know what? All right, cool. I can do that. I can definitely do that. Because like I said, it just gives you that confidence. I think. Would
it need to be race though, do you think? Or
I think the story, I think personally, it might come not in a sense of where just because we're not the same race, I'm not going to be inspired. We're inspired by different people and different things around us every day. But I just feel like when I see someone that looks like me, that's had some kind of journey like me, it gives me confidence, because we know that for us, we got to work 5 times harder 100%. Than certain people. Do you know what I mean? But if I see someone that looks like me, that's, doing stuff that I didn't think was possible, it gives me that great confidence, because someone who doesn't look like me, it's a great story, but sometimes I feel like, you might have got there because of hard work, but at the same time, how easy was it for you? Do you know what I'm saying? But when I see someone that looks like me, I'm like, I know that wasn't easy. I know there's certain things that had to be done. There's certain hard roads, certain mountains that had to be climbed for you to be where you at. So even though to an extent I do agree, but to an extent I do also think and believe that representation does play in terms of race will come down to just give you that extra boost, that extra confidence. That's my personal take on it. I don't know. Like obviously everyone else will have their agreement and disagreement, but I do feel like that's the reason why these kids today can see the Raheem Sterlings of today, and they all want to ball like Raheem Sterling. Everyone wanted to play basketball because of Michael Jordan. And there was great basketball players at the time, Larry Bird and everything like. No, sorry, not Larry Bird. Larry Bird didn't play around Michael Jordan. I'm talking about even around the Larry Bird days. Everyone wanted to ball like Magic Johnson. Do you know what I'm saying? Like when you look at the NBA today, heavily dominated by black players. And so I do feel like sometimes it does play a bit of
I think to echo your point 100%, I do think so, but it's just that it's distorted because it's become the main point. It's become the center of attention. Like for example, the burden of success falls on you, and I think it's unfair. When it, like for example, when you take a simple example, someone like Obama, when he went into office, everyone was like, he didn't do enough for black people just because of the color of his skin. If it was someone else that had been in office, do you know what I mean? It wouldn't be so distorted that, what did he do? And he even came out in a few interviews saying that you lot miss the point that although I am president, I still need majority in parliament. I still majority from my party to be able to enact certain laws. So that's the problem. When it becomes the main point, your race, you will be held accountable more because you're like, okay, for example, you become like a Raheem Sterling that you've given a great point. Yeah, if he doesn't give back enough, people are going to start getting onto him. You're black, you've made it. You should be able to bring in more other black people in. So I think, race is definitely, it's definitely a contribution to representation. However, it shouldn't be the main focus. The main point.
Okay. I like that. I think that, like I said, even your early point, I do agree with it. I just thought maybe it just gives you that edge in it. But maybe I'm seeing it in a different light today. Because sometimes there is that pressure of like, you've made it, now you've got to help the whole community. Like you have to help the 100%. Whole community. Like even those who don't deserve it, even those who aren't doing anything, because we look alike, you have to help me. Like you owe me. And we see that mentality with a lot of our parents, and their siblings back home. You have siblings back home who are really reliant on their siblings who are here, our parents. Our parents will earn the very little that they're earning, but having to divide that money in 20 parts. Like it's got to go home to this person, that person who's sitting at home doing absolutely nothing. Having children, having baby, and then those children are heavily reliant on the fact that they have an uncle or an auntie that's in Europe. And that auntie and uncle is going to take care of them, right? In terms of you become everyone else's problem. You're not my problem as a parent. And I think sometimes I am in agreement with what you're saying, but I just always thought that if I see someone that looks like me in a certain position, for me, I'm not begging. It just gives me confidence to say, okay, I can do that too. I can do that too. Like, okay, I see a doctor there who's been there for, it's like, okay, maybe it's possible for my son to also do that. I see someone, in a certain position in the media or in education, say, okay, maybe it's possible for a black person to become a vice principal or whatever within a certain area, within a certain, do you know what I mean? Like, I do get what you're saying. But so what are your future projects? Like, what are you working on now? And what you plan on working on? How do you plan on expanding on the great work that you're already doing?
Thank you, man. Thank you for saying that. So with the books, we're going to keep writing. Yeah. The next book that I want to write is about faith. So I do want to write one Christian book. Yeah. So it's called The 7 Steps to Getting Closer to Christ. Okay. Because I feel like a lot of people have that rocky relationship with Christ, the roller coaster of ups and downs, and which we all have, to be honest.
I'll tell you. I'm being for real. Yeah,
man. And then I want to write a novel after that on bullying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a serious one.
Yeah.
That's a
I'm
serious
touch on bullying, man.
Yeah. What do you really want to go on? What do you want to say on?
Oh, so it's a fictional story. It's going to be about a young Congolese man who's getting bullied in school, and his way to retaliate is becoming a lawyer. Instead of getting a knife and going after the young people and being violent about it, his retaliation is success. So you heard it first, man.
I like that. Retaliate by success. Kill them with success. I like that. That's deep, man. Listen, like I said, this episode was always going to be one for a lot of knowledge, and like I said, we just want to be able. We want you able to sit back, listen, take notes, and So let's in your books. Yeah. Is there a favorite part that you like? Whenever for example, your book well, the pages. I wanted you to maybe read a part, one of your favorite parts in your book, so that we can have an insight of what your what is it that we're into.
Okay.
That you can.
I definitely have a favorite part. I think it's in chapter 4. Yeah. I'm even have to. Yeah. So this is from a chapter called "Product of My Environment" or "Product of Our Environment." Yeah. Let me see the part that I want to read. Is it in this chapter? Might be in another one.
Yeah, no, take it away, man.
Yeah, there's definitely...
Yeah. Definitely.
Hold on. No, it's actually in another one. It's called The Definition of Culture.
Yeah?
Yeah, so just an extract. My confusion ends when I see the lack of diversity in these urban areas, revisiting poignant memories and recalling previous encounters, and possibly similar to some of yours. Croydon, Surrey, during 2003, in the last year of primary school, saw the emerge of many teenage social groups. However, the most popular groups accommodated the worst troublemakers. They all spoke the same and shared the same sense of style. But most importantly, they all appeared respected. Some of the perks that came with the come-up and the notoriety included females' identity and security as they abided by their own set of rules. It was not until several years later that I realised those dividends were nothing but mere illusions. So yeah, that's my favourite, man.
What's that one? Yeah. Nah, for real, that's deep, man. That's deep.
Thank you,
But
man.
where you actually still haven't told us where we can get the book.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
Get a copy, man. Just get it where we can get a book. So this one here, Kevin Munga. This one here, I like this. I like the cover for this one. This one here. Who am I? This is Who Am I?
Yeah.
This one right
Second
there.
one, yeah.
Yeah, and this one here is Young Black Males Have Potential. Fantastic book. You
There's
guys
small
grab it.
books as well, man, because people
People
ain't going to finish it otherwise, man.
People don't. Yeah, people
had to.
don't. Did you keep them short and simple
purpose.
like
Yeah.
on purpose?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because a lot of people. But do you have electronic copies though? Because a lot of people obviously reading through their Kindles. And
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
it's all on Kindle, so I'll say where you can get it. So you can get it from a shop in Finsbury Park.
Yeah.
The first one.
So it's
Called-
what's the shop called? Black Home. What's the
Yeah.
What's the shop called?
New Beacons.
New Beacons.
Yeah,
in
Finsbury Park.
Yeah,
That's the first one, not the second
you
one.
can get this one there.
No, the first one. The first
So
one.
you can- this is okay.
yeah.
This is the first book.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
first
right,
one.
this is the first. So you
Yeah,
can grab
yeah.
this in New Beacons.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what? Take it. You tell us, man. Do the promo, bro. Come on, you know your book. And then just if you can just look at that camera right there, because you know obviously we're in Heaven Above Studio. Come on, we got
Which
like,
one? The one in the middle?
bro.
there?
You pick what camera you want to look at, but preferably
Alright.
you look at that one. You gotta let people know there's about 5-6 cameras in here.
Yeah,
but
so-
go that one there. Go that one right there.
The main
Yeah, go
one.
ahead.
So,
Yeah. Oh, look
cool,
at this
cool.
one. There you go. Look at this one.
Yeah, so this
Yeah.
one is in a bookstore, all black bookstore.
I'd say just hold it properly so the
Yeah.
people them can see. Because, you know, we might be able to zoom into that. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, the hands are not dry, it's all right.
Nice. You go ahead. bro.
In an all black bookstore, you got this one, Young Black Males Have Potential.
Yeah.
It's in a store called New Beacons
Yeah.
in Finsbury Park. So
Yeah.
if you just type it on Google,
Yeah.
you'll find a store, great owners as well.
Yeah.
I think it's been there for years, man. The
Yeah,
shop,
yeah,
literally,
yeah.
man.
Good
They've
history.
got
Black
they've
owned.
got-
Support that. Black
yeah, they've
owned,
got a
black
Carlos
owned.
book there. They've got a lot of
Nice.
black authors there, and then you got it on Amazon as well.
Okay.
You got the Kindle edition, you got the paperback edition, and then you got this one on Amazon. You got paperback and Kindle edition as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Go
So
get that.
both
Go
of them,
get
man.
that. Do you know what? I might buy, and then the prices of it's affordable. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
man.
affordable. You know, what? I'm gonna buy.
Very
I'm
affordable.
gonna buy a few copies now, and I'm
Thank
gonna give
you,
it
man.
away to a few of our followers. So
Thank you.
Yeah, make sure you follow us at Be My Guest Show. For you to get follow us, and you know, share our page, like our content, and then we'll do a raffle, and then you can win a copy of the book. So make sure you follow Be My Guest Show. Make sure you follow Kevin as well. But follow us, share our content in your story, and tag us Be My Guest Show, and then we'll do a raffle, and then we'll select a winner. And then just DM us your address and everything like that, and we'll be able to send you a copy of the book. Yeah, man, because I feel like it's amazing that we need to support our brother. We need to support what he's
Thank you.
doing. So yeah, man, that's any final words for you though, my friend. Like, the platform is yours for as long as you want, man. You rap, you go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'd say my only final words would be, yeah, man. I just reiterate the fact that decisions become easy when you can live with the consequences. And I think, so if you could perceive or you can foresee the consequences of the actions you're about to take, your decisions are going to just be made easier, man. And I think just keep striving, keep working, you will get there, man. And on the way to success, there's definitely failure. So, yeah, that's my encouraging words to wrap it up.
No, for real. There's no way to success. There's definitely a failure. To someone that's struggling with that transition, what can they do? How can they're struggling with that transition? You know, they're on the road, but they want to come out.
Yeah.
But, you know, they just don't know where to start. What can they do?
So is it particularly people on roads or just in general?
In general, like,
Yeah.
but even, on the road, in general, they're just struggling to just make that switch, to just transition and just find their purpose. What can they do?
I'd say the first thing is you can't be lazy if you do want to transition, because this is hours of work. Like the person I am, like even to be able to speak this way, this isn't my dialect a few years ago. So I would say hours and hours invested in. When you identify what you're good at, start spending hours in working in that specific field. So if you know that, for example, okay, good, you're a good cook, start just watching YouTube videos and just learning your craft, owning it. You know, just in whatever you're good at. I think that everyone is good at something. I don't believe that you can't be good at something. There's something, you just haven't identified it. And that's the seed. That's how it commences. That's how you start transitioning. Literally, man.
That's deep, man. That's deep. Yeah, Kevin Munga, thank you so much. Don't forget, you can grab yourself a copy at Beacons.
New Beacons
in Finsbury Park.
Yeah.
For that's the hard copy. You can get that. Also, the books are available on Amazon, and also we'll be doing a giveaway on Be My Guest Show. All you got to do is share our content, tag us, Be My Guest Show, and then we will be sending a book your way. So thank you so much for supporting. I want to give again a massive shout out to our media partner, Heaven Above Studios, for a beautiful setup. Sound, as you can see, is immaculate as always. I want to say a massive shout out to all our panelists that have not been here for a while. We've actually got a big set. So I want to give a big shout out to Cabs Fit. Again, to those of you, summer's around the corner. It's getting hot. If you see me, I'm trying to say I'm looking trimmed, and that's all credit to Cabs Fit, getting me right, getting me to just, look good, feel good. Shout out Cabs Fit. Again, I want to give a massive shout out to Carts Apparel. Follow them, it's got some amazing stuff there. I want to give a massive shout out to Unique. Go to our page, Unique Beauts, and just subscribe to the channel. Bella Table, massive shout out to them. Nivs for all things tutoring, for all things educational. Just follow Nivs. Rena Mimi, who hasn't been here for quite a while, I want to give her a massive shout out as well. To our floor manager, production manager, assistant, D Bonds, I want to give her a shout out as well. And to you, our amazing guests, our amazing people following us and just supporting what we do, we want to say thank you. Kevin Munga in the building, signing out, be my guest star. I know you got a long way back, man, so I don't want to hold you back. I know what it's like to be on those long journeys. So thank you so much for being there, my bro.
Welcome, man.
And we appreciate it, man. So many gems. We see you again next week. It's the big one again. Tune in. Click on the notification bell so that you're notified when we drop. Huh? Big shout out myself. Okay.
Big up yourself,
I can't big up myself.
Plug yourself.
Plug myself. Hey, you know who I am. Myself, Randy Rands, the host of the most. You know what I mean? Like I'm just here, your humble servant. Making sure we're bringing you the best of the best, and just continue to serve the community, continue to serve the people. Follow me, Randy Rands. Let's go. Let's be on this journey. Kevin Munga, thank you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, peace out. 8 time down. I'm looking good. Look at us.
The gym's paying off.
It's paying off, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you.